Welcome to Elevation. Today, my guest Nina Thomas and I will be discussing polyamorous relationships. A polyamorous relationship is when people have multiple intimate relationships at the same time. There are different types of polyamorous relationships. One is in which partners may act as a triad or quad. That is when they are all in a relationship together. Or they could be solely polyamorous, in which a person is in multiple intimate relationships but lives their life independently, meaning they have relationships with people, but they don't live with them, move in with them, or have children with them, etc. Polyamorous is often confused with polygamy, which is when people are married to more than one person. There are two different types of polygamy: polyandry, which is when a woman has multiple husbands, and polygyny, which is when a man has more than one wife. Polygyny is the more common practice. We will be using the term poly in the show in reference to being polyamorous. Now that I've explained the terminology, let's get into the discussion with my lovely guest. Thank you for joining me today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Nina Thomas, and I'm starting a business, i.e., jewelry business. I have two children, married, about to be divorced.
What made you decide that you would consider being on in the poly lifestyle?
Um, Mine is because I love women and I love men.
So, do you? But you're not attracted to females in that way, though, are you?
Not in a sexual manner, but in a way of loving them, wanting to talk to them, wanting to hear what's wrong, cuddling, stuff like that. Yes.
So, how would your poly situation be set up?
Most likely, for me, I would want to be with the man for at least 2 years to get to know him, and then look
Right.
for a woman. My reasons for that is because I don't want to bring a woman into something where it's a man who's trying to use her, or he's mean to me. Now I'm bringing a woman in, and now he's mean to her.
Right. So, do you think that it'll be kind of like an easy thing to kind of do though to find, the kind of people that you want? Like, what kind of people do you feel like would, fit into the situation that you're looking for?
Do I think it would be easy? No, no. Because a lot of men that are in poly, am I saying all of them? No, but I've met some of them. You can tell and sense that they're only in it for the whole quote unquote threesomes that they're dreaming about with two women.
Right.
Um, and then you do have the ones that are sincere and they do want to love two women and help heal. It's more of the other ones than it is the help healing. And also jealousy between women. Even the jealousy that we don't know we have towards each other. Um, that's what makes it hard too. Am I saying it would be no
Yeah, I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying because I've been in a poly relationship before. And I mean, the relationship was good, but until it became more of, instead of it was all three of us working together, it was more of male involved was not happy with the female that he was with. And instead of telling her that, I was brought into this situation, and then, you know, he was treating me differently than he was treating her. And you can't do that. Like, I mean, I don't really think that you can always treat everybody equal because sometimes the one of the partners is going to need a little bit more. So
right,
you're going to have to be able to give that other person the that attention and stuff and not get jealous or feel any type of way. And I think that, they were married and I came into this. So it's like I think that, she started feeling a certain type of way, but she never said anything during that time. And then, it came to him, wanting to do things and hide from her. And, it made me get out of it because, I didn't want that kind of situation. And I was younger. I was real young. And, I didn't really know everything I was getting into either. So that was, part of it.
well, see
So,
that. Well, see,
Go ahead.
that's why it's good to know the people before you even say yes. Because I had a couple try to get me involved in their poly, and as I was getting to know them, turns out that she had cheated, and it was all types of weird stuff that was going on, and they were just looking for a third person to patch up their broken relationship.
Right. I feel like that's not what poly is. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what that is, which we'll get into. But you can't bring somebody else in to try to fix something that's already messed up. Bringing another person in is not going to make it any better. If anything, it's just going to add more problems. And then
Right,
you're going to, kind of mess up that other person too, because, you're throwing two people's problems on one person. And that's a lot of things that other people don't think about when they're trying to have a whole poly relationship. That, you know, it's you're dealing with different emotions and attitudes and things like that. And sometimes that's just hard with one person. So with two people, it's even more.
right. You can manage to get the first two, meaning the first two people that were in the relationship, if their relationship is good and they know how to manage their feelings and stuff, like communication and things like that. Bringing in a third person can be hard if the third person doesn't want to learn how to communicate if they don't know how to. Um, so poly is very tricky, and you have to be ready for some mental stuff.
Yeah, you have to be really mature to handle that situation. And I mean, people do poly in different ways. Like some people don't want all three partners to be together. They just want the option of not having to commit to one person. So they, have
True.
multiple, people that they deal with. And I mean, that works as long as you're honest. But sometimes people lie and say they're poly, but I don't feel like they're really poly because um they're everybody doesn't know about each other. So what do you think about people that say they're poly but they're hiding their other partners and everybody they're not like as open with it what
They're
they're doing?
they're not poly. Poly people can openly say, "Hey, I have these many partners," and they don't have to hide them. That's what it's supposed to be about, not hiding people too.
I feel like that's just a way that they're cheating
It
and
is. That's
and
that's
they
why
and
they're
they just
doing
want
it.
to and they want to put a pretty name on what they're doing. That's how I feel about that. Like I mean, it's not, what I mean, open. It's not healthy. I don't feel
Right.
like because
Because
the other person doesn't know what they're involved with. You know what I mean?
it feels like the whole basically the same one-on-one relationship where the person is in a relationship with you, but they're hiding the other person. You might as well not even be poly. You might just be a cheater.
Pretty much. That's what I feel like. I mean, I mean, be single. I mean, some people are not meant for relationships. It is what it
Yes.
is. And there's no point in trying to force stuff that you can't really do. Like you're being selfish. It's like you meet this person, this person is great, but you know that you can't commit. And so instead of admitting they can't commit, then they choose to be poly. Well, say that they're poly to make themselves feel better about what they're doing. And I feel like
Right.
that gives, a bad name to being poly. A lot of people don't accept it and they feel like it's settling to do that. And I don't necessarily feel that way because if you actually want to explore this, then I feel like you should be free to. Like, who are we to say, well, that's wrong, you should only be with one person or whatever. But that's my take on it. What do you feel about people that feel like women that choose to be in poly relationships are settling?
Um, I can understand why being in the dating pool I can understand why they can consider it settling. But it's not. For me, it's not. It's not settling because I know how to do some of the things that we just talked about, the jealousy and all that, all those type of things. So it wouldn't be settling for me, but I do understand it can be settling for others. Oh, you tired of him cheating, or oh, you tired of um of not getting the love and affection that you're supposed to get from him. So now let's bring this woman in. Yeah, that's settling. That is
So
settling.
that's what I'm saying, because there's a lot of situations where the female will accept another woman, but the man will not accept her having another man. So is that still being poly, or is it just a one-sided deal?
If she agreed to it, then that's between her and him. But if that's not something she wanted, fairness, like okay, if you can have this woman, then I should be able to have this man. If he can't agree with it, then she probably needs to go because he's just looking for another woman. And
Right. And that's what a lot of people, I feel like, I mean, some women are satisfied with just the male, and if there's another female, they're fine with it, and that's the thing. But then there's situations where there are females that would explore with other males, but their partner won't let them, and
well,
they
that
go along with it.
well, that also comes with the host. The whole a woman being with more than one man is a whole
Right,
type of stigma.
right, right,
So I think it might be a little harder for men to accept that the woman that he's with is not one.
right.
Um, Knowing that she is sleeping with another man. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard for men. Are territorial,
They are.
and they're very territorial. So they have to let go of their ego also to
Yes.
let her explore herself. And a lot of men are not willing to do that. They're like, no, that's mine. You're not going.
Well,
And
a lot of the
go ahead.
men that are wanting to do the whole two men thing, the ones that I have met,
Right.
um, they're both. Most of my men are very needy. Like they want somebody to love them. So okay, yeah, if you're gonna love me correctly or take up, how can I say it? If you can give me everything I need and give them everything I need, yeah, I'll do this type of thing. But they really don't want to. They do want
So
somebody.
men settle too. Like they
Yes,
but
they do.
they settle too. It's not just women, and I think that's something that we don't realize, because sometimes, I mean, I don't know any men that would do it, but there are men that are like that, that would be like, um as long as you're as long as you stay here, as long as you're gonna be here, as long as it doesn't take away from me, do what you need to do. It's one of
Yeah.
those type of things.
Oh yeah, I've met non-poly men who have said, I don't care about him. I just want you to be with me too. And it's like, what?
Right. It makes you look at them sideways. It does. It makes you look at
Needy.
them
It
sideways.
looks needy.
Because
Like
how right,
you're non-poly for one.
right.
Um, why would you get involved in something that you know you possibly can't handle because you probably was in a relationship where a woman did you bad. So now you just like, let me just jump into something.
Right. I mean, and I think, unfortunately, that's what some people do. They go through so much. Dating is hard. Hard is so hard to date now.
Who you
Be-
telling?
because people are so selfish, and it's just crazy. It's
Ooh, who you
like,
telling?
what what can you do for me? What can I get out of you?
Yes.
It's not, what can we do for each
And
other? How can we grow?
right.
It's not that. So
And
people
that's
get Go ahead.
That's not only reason why poly is hard. That is the reason why relationships, period, are hard.
Yeah, they're hard, and people get tired of going through these ups and downs and changes with this one person. So they're like, well, you know what? I'm gonna date. I'm gonna be poly because I can get what I want from different people. I don't need one person to get everything I need from. So
Right.
they do
I,
that too. So that's another thing that I've seen. I mean, I'm not speaking on all poly situations or anything like that. I'm just speaking from personal experience and things I've seen for myself.
the benefits is always having somebody to talk to, meaning you could talk to one of the partners and maybe they understand whatever you're saying and the other partner doesn't, but maybe they can, tell the other partner this is what she's saying or this is what he's saying because this is the area that they're close in, and then it could go vice versa. You get what I'm saying?
Right, right.
So
And
that's a
that's a plus because a lot of times we go to people outside of our relationship to talk about things. But if you have two people to talk to, like I think, you
somebody in
know,
the relationship got to understand out of all
yeah,
three of us.
somebody go like somebody in there got to know something. You know what I mean? And
And
you could go from there.
financial benefits, even if it's just the two people that's working, if there are kids involved, you have one of the parents or one of the people that's involved in the relationship that's able to supposed to do everything for the kids while the other two are at work. But if all
Right.
three of them work, now you have more money to save, build, possibly buy a house, two, rent one
Yeah.
out, all types of
Right.
possibilities.
Right. And there's three people to deal with the children. Cause
Right,
you know what I'm saying? It's like we know like being a parent is hard and the more hands you have, the better off it is. So if you're actually working as a unit, it can be beneficial. But a lot of
right.
people don't do it that way and it makes no sense to me. Why be
What
poly if you're not gonna do it that I mean work as a unit together because it helps so much. It's so much deeper than just, having sex with different people. Like it's way
right,
deeper than that.
right. And it's the other plus is when you don't want to be bothered, because we all have those days where we want to be alone, even if it's with a mate.
Yeah,
The
you
mate,
do. Like
the
you just need space, you need time to yourself, or you need a break or whatever. So
while you're
yeah,
taking your break, the other two partners are doing them, and y'all can even have a set up schedule where this is my day, this is your day, or okay, she's not feeling that well, or he's not feeling that well. Let them go, figure out whatever it is that's wrong, so they can come back and talk to us. You get what I'm
right,
saying?
right. I mean,
So
yeah, you have to be strong, but that's
yeah,
like you have to be so strong mentally to be able to handle that though, because people get jealous, and it's like
yes.
that jealousy is I think a big part of it. If you can't really handle it, I don't feel like you should get into it because you're not gonna make it.
Oh yeah. Because time, people get jealous of time, especially if they feel like they're not getting their fair share of time. People also could get upset of always having to be us three together. Like, can it never be us two? It's always have to be us three. Like,
Right.
it's stuff that has to be worked out. Like,
Yeah, it's a
real,
lot.
really.
I mean, it's a lot of discussion and talks before it even happens. It's not something that you can just jump into blind. It's like,
Right,
and I think a lot of people do it because it's popular now. We see it everywhere. Before it wasn't so popular, people kind of hid it, but now it's like becoming this thing, and people are like, "Oh, well, let me, we can try this and see how it works," and not realizing what they're putting themselves into.
well, for one, the people who are trying to get into it, if it's a couple trying to get into poly, they need to discuss rules, boundaries, and instead of just trying to jump in the bed with the new person they're trying to bring in, they have to sit
Right.
back, talk to
That
them, have
right.
fun together. Let's go out to eat and see how compatible us three are out in the environment. Can we handle these people looking and staring at us, knowing that they're thinking possibly the two women could be gay, and that's not
Right.
always true.
Right.
Um, Possibly if you do get two men, the two men could be gay, but that's not always true either. So you have to get to know people before you just jump into poly.
Right. Right. So, what do you feel like is the downside of being poly?
Woo, the stigma of what's going on in the bedroom. Everybody thinking is just some nasty stuff going on, and um being hated just because you want to not have a regular relationship.
Yeah,
Um,
if you don't go by what everybody else does, because everybody feels like they can't be different, then it's automatically wrong. You know, and
right.
just because you don't agree with something, I don't feel like it's wrong. If it's
Oh, and
not hurting anybody, then why is it wrong?
and the whole low self esteem. You don't know if these people have low self esteem or not.
Right. I
So
mean,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right,
the whole people looking at it wrong, and then you have to feel this, and the outside world can be cruel, and if you can't just leave it outside, it brings havoc into the inside home.
right. So you really have to know who you are as a person
Yep.
to do this. If you're unsure or you're not, where you need to be on
If you're not
mentally,
comfortable with yourself personally, with all your personal weird stuff that you
right,
do,
right,
imagine stepping into an environment where everybody thinks you're weird. So now you already had these problems where you're upset because everybody thinks you're weird personally. Now they're thinking your relationship is weird.
right. And I mean, you have to, not worry about what other people think and just do what makes you
Right.
happy. And a lot of people want to do things, but they want people to accept what they do. And
That's
that's not
not going to
always going to
happen.
be the case. That's not always going to
That's
be the
not going
case.
that's not
So
going to
you
happen.
have to really, really know that's what you want and not just do it and think, oh, well, people are going to accept me. They love me, blah, blah, blah. Because, people in your life may not accept what you're doing. And if that's the road you want to go down, you have to be 100% sure in who you are and stuff. So why do you think that people accept two women and one man more than they do one woman and two men? Like, why do we see the two women and one man scenario more? Like, why do you feel like that's so?
For one, religion.
Right,
For two, cultures.
right,
You see it more commonly than in different cultures that do believe in things like that. And in religion, you see it more in the religious books that it's two women and one man. With cultures that believe in polys. Um, so it's more accepted. And then the whole fact of men planting their seeds, their wild oats. So it's a lot of, it feels like men can do it, but you can't type of stereotype. That's one of the reasons.
that's what I feel like too. I feel like it's a big double standard for it because
Yep.
females are in our society. Females are looked at as they're supposed to be with one man, and a man can go and be fruitful and multiply with many women, and it's fine because he's a man and that's what he's supposed to do. But when women do it, it's like, oh my god, what is she doing? She's a hoe. She's this.
Yep.
She's that.
Yep.
And I feel like there might be more females that are doing this, but we just don't know about it. They don't, it's not on the forefront. For those reasons, they don't want to deal with, having to deal with all that stigma that's attached to it. But, men, they do it proudly because they know nobody's going to say anything to
Oh
them. They
yeah.
always look at the women. It's always the women. It's always
Oh,
like, why
oh
did
yeah.
this woman want to be with another woman? It's not why. why can't this man commit to one woman? Why does he have to have two? It's never that. I've
They
never
never
heard that.
hold on, and they never look at men as needy. Um, they never say, "Oh, why does this man need two women?" It's
Right,
always, "Why does this woman need two men?" And
right,
when they look
right,
at it like that, then you come back to the, "Oh, she's a hoe. Oh, she's a this." But you never look at him and say, "Oh, he's a hoe because he has two women," or, "Oh, he must have needy issues or mommy issues to need two women." You know, you never
right,
hear anybody
right.
say,
It's never anything said negative about the man. Not that I've seen. Now, people
"Oh
may
no, they
say it.
king. They are kings. They are pimps. They are, oh, he got two women." You like what? No.
Right, right. It's always that. It's like, oh, he's brainwashed these women into doing this. Like, it's
Yes, I
never.
hate that. I hate
It's
that whole thing where they try to say the woman is being stupid and she's being brainwashed. A lot of women don't need to be brainwashed to be in a poly. They just need to feel the emotions and the feelings and the nurturing that they're supposed to receive.
right. I mean, some people actually, want that. They want another partner. They feel more confident in the situation with another partner because it takes some of the pressure off of them. So they want it. And a lot of people feel like, they don't want it. They just do it just because. I don't know if it's ever a time when someone doesn't want someone to themselves. I think that's the thing. We can't wrap our minds around somebody not wanting somebody to themselves. And I feel like everybody gets to a point that they're going to want alone time. And in a poly situation, I'm not sure how that works out because, it's three partners. I don't know if it's something you discuss or what. And that's the thing about it. And that is why I don't want to be poly anymore because now that I'm older, I know that I want one on one attention. I don't want to have to spread that out on multiple people. But I don't feel like it's wrong for someone to want that if
Well,
that's what
I,
makes them happy and fulfills them.
well, I think you know what. This is out of the blue. Some people don't want poly, and I'm not saying you, because they're not getting the love that they're supposed to get from that one person. So now we finna bring in this other person, and they're like, "Well, if you're not already giving me the love and stuff that I'm already supposed to receive from you, then that means more love is gonna be taken away from me."
Right, and that's what we were talking about in the beginning of all of this, where you put this. Sorry, the relationship is already messed up, and you bring
Yep.
someone else in, and it's not the way it is supposed to be to begin with. I mean, I think some people probably would consider it more if it wasn't so taboo, but because
Yep.
there's so much negative connotation towards it, they, won't even consider it. And they try to sit there and they force themselves to be monogamous when that's not really for them. Like we've been told that monogamy is for us and we have to be monogamous, but that's just like a lot of other things that we've been told in life. You really have to pick your own path and what is
Right.
right for you and what feels right for you. And if it leads
Yeah.
you to be with one and more person, then I mean that's you. Like you
My
can't worry about how other people feel about your choices. You're never gonna be happy in life if you do that.
my biggest fear, if I did decide to get into a poly, would be to that somebody is trying to use me.
Right.
That would be my biggest fear. Somebody is trying to use me, if not for their sexual fantasies, for to fix whatever's going wrong in their relationship.
See, that's why I wouldn't ever join a couple. I wouldn't want to do that. I would want it to
Yeah,
be more
right.
of if we were already if I was going to do this, we would already be together and we would be strong and we would be bringing the other person in. I wouldn't ever want to be the person going in because I'm just going to be real about it. Going in, the woman that is there first, you can't go in changing shit. You gotta go into what they have
And
and
fall in line.
follow your ass in line. And if you're not ready for that, it's not gonna happen. And so,
But you know
I
what?
go ahead.
If the woman who was there first understands why she's doing this and it's for good reasons, and if she understands women, then it'll go a little bit more smoother. You get what I'm
I think
saying?
I get what you're saying. I do. I'm just gonna be honest. I think that it works better when the women are bisexual. Why I say that is it's not feeling like it's like you can bond even deeper, and it's not, I mean, you can have that friendship and stuff with the female if you're not, intimate with them. But when you have
Right.
that intimacy, it's a closer relationship. It's not just like this other person is here and I have to get used to them being here and we building this friendship. It's like, okay, we are into this together. This is my partner. It's just a different type of feel to it.
Right. Well, if you build the friendship before you even decide, like, yes, I'm with Polly, and then the other woman is like, yes, I'm with Polly, and it's like, okay, well, let's hang out, see what each other is about. Then before you be like, okay, we gonna be together. We just gonna do this.
Right,
You
right,
probably can, for one, keep a friend if it doesn't work out in certain areas, but it does work out in other areas, meaning business, being able to have somebody to confide in because they are into the same thing you're into. But now you see this jealousy in her between you two. Stop it, and then just continue being friends.
right. And I mean, that's the thing with even not being poly. If we would build friendships before jumping into relationships, they would work so much better because we know more about the person, we know more about how they handle different situations and stuff. And I don't think, we take the time to build the friendship part first. I think that's really um one of the things that make stuff so hard because we don't. And well, thank you for joining us today. And before you go, what is one piece of advice that you have for someone that's thinking about being poly or that's already in a poly situation already?
If you're thinking about getting into a poly, have boundaries. Get to know the person. Get to know the people. And that's all I could say. You got to get to know the person.
Well, thank you again, and I really appreciate you. And I hope that we can do this again because I really enjoyed talking to you.
Oh yeah, I had a nice time. A conversation was great. Thank you for having me.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on all streaming platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. I hope you guys enjoy the show and learn some things, even if you don't agree with the lifestyle. People that are poly don't do it just to have sex with multiple people and they aren't settling. They just decided that monogamy wasn't for them and they found an alternate relationship style that fulfills their lives. Polygamy and polyamorous aren't the same things. As I discussed earlier, polygamy is the marriage of multiple people, and being polyamorous is the dating of multiple people. And lastly, if everyone involved does not know about each other and you're not being open and honest with everyone you're involved with, then you're just cheating. Don't call it poly because you're just lying to them and lying to yourself. Once again, I want to thank my guest, Nina Thomas, for coming here today and joining me. You can find her IE Body Jewelry on Facebook at IE Body Jewelry, and on Instagram at Nina.999. Follow me on my social media for the most recent updates and links to future shows. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Yvette_Arthur and on Facebook at Yvette Arthur. All together, no spaces. And until next time, ciao.